I bet you thought I forgot. No, I did not forget about our Married to Medicine recap, but as I told you, it's the holiday week. As you can see, I'm not in my studio, but I did watch the Married to Medicine season 8, episode 2, right? Or no, episode 3. Episode 3 of their latest season. And I keep saying this. You may not agree with me, which is fine. Everyone can disagree. But I do feel as if Leticia, aka Sweet Tea, is such a critical part of the season, the most valuable player of the season. And it might not necessarily be for a good reason, but I will also say the fact that this whole storyline with Dr. Gregory and his new wife gives more relevance to Quad being here this season. So far, though, I can't say that Quad has been an intricate part, but she's been a major part of conversation because of what we're seeing with Dr. Gregory and his new wife, Leticia. And I said this before and I'll say it again. I feel as if you really value your relationship, if you really value the future of this relationship, I don't know if I would have ever brought this relationship to the public consumption so everyone could be critical. Everyone can be like, oh, here goes Dr. Gregory's red flags. Dr. Gregory, of all people, should have known what this reality TV space was more than Sweet Tea. And I feel as if he could have warned her. I don't know if he really wanted to come back to television. Maybe he did. We know as soon as his relationship with Quad ended, he disappeared. But Quad has remained on the show. But I've told you my biggest criticism of Quad being on the show is it's not just that she's not married to medicine, because we have so many different reality shows where the qualifications, as Candace would say from Real Housewives of Potomac, people don't meet those qualifications anymore. But for me, when it comes to Quad, you can tell she's not friends with any of these women. And I know she says that Heavenly is her sister. However, these two also haven't been in communication. Heavenly is still hanging out with all of these ladies on the cast, even when the cameras aren't rolling. And I do feel like Audra, remember Audra, the lawyer who had the husband that was a doctor as well? They should have given her a second chance. Because honestly, I'm sorry, Dr. Alicia, based off the edit, I know that's not your fault. Based off the edit, we're not getting a lot from her. At least with Audra, I felt like we were getting a lot, and now she just had the baby. Like, she's in a different chapter in her life. Justice for Audra. Okay? Dr. Alicia, I'm not saying that it's too soon to judge Dr. Alicia, and I'm not seeing anything so far. That's because we're dealing with this look good, this look nice. Sorry, Sweet Tea, but it's true. And Sweet Tea turns up in this episode. So let's talk about Married to Medicine. As always, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. A lot is coming up in regards to what we have planned for the Kempire brand. So excited about some of the new things that I've been working on. But we got to move in silence until we actually do the things. But New York City, guys, like the video. Let's get into a countdown, and then let's get into our Married to Medicine season 10. Because I think I said season 8. Season 10 recap.
Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll ask you. Follow my lead, just watch the shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Oh, look, anytime I go away, technology, it just seems to bear with us. Anyways, so let's talk about this episode, season 10, episode 3 of Married to Medicine. Again, guys, if you haven't already, vote in our live chat poll to let us know how you would rate this episode of Married to Medicine. All right. So at the top of this episode, we have this scene with Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone. If you've been watching Married to Medicine, this is something that we've watched for years with these two. But ever since they're falling out, and I just said this in a quick TikTok video, saying, I don't care what anyone says. Even Dr. Heavenly has sort of alluded that the relationship between Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone is not the same. But Of course, producers are going to try and give us the nostalgia. It is 10 years of Married to Medicine, so they're going to give us the nostalgia of watching these two meet up for lunch and hang out. They claim, they've been so busy. Sometimes I work through lunch, and I believe that they're busy, but I also don't believe that Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone are the same. Do I think that they're civil? Do I think that they care about each other? Yes. I just don't think that their relationship is the same, which is fine. But at the same time, I'm like, don't try and fool us. But what I love about this show is the medical conversations. When Dr. Jackie is talking about, I saw a patient who thought she had a yeast infection, but it really was an STD. And then she's like, are you cheating? Did your husband give this to you? Now, that's tea. That's something to be like, whoa, what is going on here? All right. So I can appreciate these types of conversations. So, of course, the big hot topic of the season is about Leticia, Dr. Gregory's new wife, Sweet Tea. And they're at the point in their lives where they feel as if Sweet Tea, who's expecting Dr. Gregory to be involved in the wedding, and he's not. And he's like, I'm paying for this. And Dr. Simone is just like, when we were doing what we were doing in our relationships, we never did this. And even Dr. Jack is like, I never thought I would come to the point in my life where I would say, well, at our age, we didn't have to do, we had to do everything. Here's the thing. I have to say, and I get where they're coming from, because the era that they're coming from, and I know a lot of you agree with them, like, Sweet Tea is, Dr. Simone was like, people of her generation are so entitled. And what does she also say? She said that they're entitled and spoiled. Entitled, okay, I can maybe agree with saying people are spoiled for expecting her husband to have some involvement in the wedding. Look, some brides don't want the husbands involved. Sometimes they want to be taking care of everything. But it sort of gives the connotation that it's a woman's job to plan the wedding. Yes, that's the normal thing that falls upon a woman, because some women, it's been their lifelong dream to get married and to have that fairy tale wedding. For some, not all. So saying that Sweet Tea is spoiled and entitled, and her generation is spoiled and entitled, just because she wants her husband to be more involved than just writing a check, I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think she expects him to get involved in every single detail, but I think she wants him to be excited. I think that's the bigger thing. I don't think it's about him actually doing a damn thing. I think she wants him to be involved because she wants to feel like he wants this as much as she does. Maybe I'm psychoanalyzing this way deeper than it actually is. But for me, the bigger thing here that I'm seeing Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, which I understand they're from a different generation. They believe in these sort of gender roles, and it's just a different era. But we are also in 2023, where we're sort of knocking down those walls of, this is what a man is supposed to do and this is what a woman's supposed to do. So for me, what they're saying is that it's a woman's job. This is how I'm interpreting. I'm not saying that's what exactly it is, but this is how I'm interpreting. It's a woman's job to plan this wedding, which I don't agree, because a man can be involved. A man can help out. And I'm not saying that he needs to pick out the dress and pick out the flowers, but I think she wants him to show a little bit more interest and involvement in this wedding, which is fine. But they're judging her. I feel like this entire season, this cast of women are almost mean girl-ish. I hate to use that term. However, it just feels that way this season. I feel like everyone on this cast, even the people that are pretending to be friends with Leticia, are coming across mean girlish. The only person that I honestly feel wants to help Leticia in a way, because I think it's 50-50. I think she wants to help Leticia, but she also wants to get at Quad, because Leticia is now becoming the new Mrs. Lunsford. But could you blame Toya? I can't believe, I feel like I'm Team Toya this season, but y'all know I'm not Team anyone. I'm Team Kempire all day, every day. All right. But I don't blame Toya for not seeing it for Quad, especially after last season. Look, we know that there's been history of back and forth with these women, but especially after last season, insinuating she's cheating on you, Dr. Eugene, insinuating that she might have been involved in Anila's break-in. And she doubled down on it during the reunion. Anyways. So Sweet Tea and Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly, although I feel like Dr. Heavenly is so important for the show, I think Dr. Heavenly is so funny. She is also, she gets the story moving during the season. She also starts the drama. But she also has been a real central focus of, I feel like, igniting division in Sweet Tea's relationship. So she's having this conversation with Sweet Tea about her wedding. They're having shots. Sweet Tea's wearing a cowboy hat that Dr. Heavenly thinks is a sombrero. Okay. But she said that she had to move her venue. She said that she's been working. She had to get in her wedding planner's butt about this wedding and what's going on at the wedding. Only for us to see the preview for next week's episode. Why is the wedding planner the same guy? Remember Phaedra met him in the office? He used to work for Candy. Remember he wanted to sue Candy and Phaedra brought him in? That's him. I could be wrong, but it looks exactly like him. He got little braids now. That is Johnny. So that is her wedding planner. All right. You already know. Poor thing. She got Johnny as her wedding planner. Poor thing. So they had to change her wedding venue. She says that sometimes Dr. G does throw in her face that he pays the bill. She says she has her own money. She doesn't ask him for money, but he does pay all the bills and things like that. And she feels like he is controlling. Here's where I feel like Sweet Tea went wrong. The fact that she was pointing out the similarities of what Quad has said about Dr. G, which made me think, so you watched the show before, which is not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible that, she's a fan. You watched the show before, but do you think that I would ever, but this is me, go to someone I'm just becoming friends with on a reality show and admit that the first wife might have been right about the man I'm about to marry? It feels strange. It feels like, I don't know, as Dr. G, how I would feel about you pointing this out on television to someone else. Look, anyone else? Just a feeling, just a thought. But she says that she feels like he's controlling. She talks about he tried to teach her a lesson. And this is why I always said Dr. G is beyond the voice, beyond his strange personality. There were some toxic things that we saw between Dr. G and Quad in the previous seasons. But he tried to teach her a lesson by saying that robbers came to the house because, she keeps forgetting to turn the alarm on. And she was like, I don't need you to teach me a lesson. And I agree with her. We don't need you to teach her a lesson. We need you to be a husband. We need you guys to be equals. But we keep forgetting that there's like an over 20-year age difference between Dr. Gregory and Sweet Tea. Leticia. I don't want to call her Leticia, y'all, because we have so many Leticias and Tishas that we cover on these. So I much rather call her Sweet Tea. You know what I mean? Just because there's so many Leticias that we talk about. Anyways, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video. This is our weekly recap of Married to Medicine. As you can see, I'm not in my usual spot, but I'm still festive. I can't wait to get home and get even more festive. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving to anyone that celebrates. Happy anyone just gathering, because for Thanksgiving, for me, it's not even about the holiday. It's more about gathering the people that you love and celebrating, and then the start of the Christmas season. So I hope that you all are happy and healthy and are just truly thankful for being here and in a good space in your life. So thank you to all of you that have been supporting and always tell me, like when I meet you guys in public, I'm praying for you, I'm uplifting for you, I'm pushing for you. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me because even some of your closest people aren't doing that. Just saying. I'm not taking shots at anyone specifically. I'm just saying you probably can relate. Some of the people that you know and love don't push for you like the way that you guys push for us. So thank you. All right. So she has that conversation with Dr. Heavenly, and Dr. Heavenly is just like, oh. But if you've seen any recent interviews with Dr. Heavenly, literally our friends over at Love B. Scott just did an IG live with Dr. Heavenly and Quad. So they were talking about the season so far and things like that. And Quad has a lot to say. And Dr. Heavenly, you can definitely tell that Dr. Heavenly has, and maybe it's because of what transpires during the season between Heavenly. Oh, well, yeah, the preview for next week at the wedding, where Dr. Heavenly is not on the guest list. This is probably why Dr. Heavenly doesn't see it for Sweet Tea. Even though Sweet Tea was recently on her YouTube channel for Dr. Heavenly University. That's why I was so surprised by how everything's been playing out. Okay, but Dr. Heavenly is definitely Team Quad. She's like, Quad is so important for the show. Quad is so important for the show. She's important this season. I'm not going to take away this season. We can't have the Sweet Tea of the situation and not have Quad be here for the season. And that's why producers, remember when we were reporting to you that it looks like Quad wasn't returning? Well, they were probably like, well, we can't do this season without Quad. We gotta have that element, especially because Sweet Tea's bringing up Quad's name. Everyone's bringing up Quad's name. All right. So Dr. Simone and her family. I actually have to say, I do. You know, certain people that you see on reality TV, not necessarily on Married to Medicine, but when you have those solo scenes with a reality star. We talked about this with Marlo on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And yes, I saw the recent story from our friends over at the Jasmine brand that they're thinking about bringing back only 3 people from Real Housewives of Atlanta. But we've already told you this. They were saying 1 or 2 people. Look, we shall see. I can see 3. But, you know, Andy already told you at BravoCon, he can see tweaks. Bringing back only 3 out of what? 5 or 6 people? That's pretty major. That's a major change. Okay. Anyways, so Dr. Simone goes out, and like I'm bringing it all back. Dr. Simone goes out to dinner with her 2 sons. We haven't seen them in a while. Michael has gone off to college. Miles is back at home. He's 24 years old, which is fine. But he's back at home. He took a year off from college. Now he's back in college. You remember he went to Howard. Then he went to Georgia Tech. Not Georgia Tech. Was it Georgia? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And then he took a year off, and now he's back in school. Michael, you know, he went on spring break, had a good old time. I love Michael and Dr. Simone's relationship. But you could tell that they're like 2 peas in a pod. So I always like to see their interactions. So he's talking about, she's like, what are you going to do after college? Are you coming back home? He's like, yeah, I'm coming back to Atlanta. And you're going to live under my roof? And he's like, I mean, I can get another apartment and you can pay for it. And she's like, oh, I'm supposed to rent another apartment for you? So I like, because this is real life. There's so many of you that are going through similar situations. Maybe your children are about to go off to college. Maybe they are in college. What I do like to see about this aspect is the family dynamic, the Black family dynamic, especially on this show, on navigating, okay, some are in college, some are not in college. You know, I'm a very educated woman, and my kids don't seem to be going the same realm right now. You know, they're still trying to find themselves, which is fine. I always enjoy watching scenes with Dr. Simone and her boys. So I'm so glad that we got this scene. All right. Heavenly, speaking of the family dynamic, this is why I love Heavenly. I know some people don't like her, find her annoying. I get that too, but these are moments when she's having conversations with Alora, and then then Dr. Damon Daddy comes in. He loves his family. I love rehearing the story of how they got together, okay, behind the high school, and Dr. Heavenly not admitting that that's not her first love, maybe not the first man she slept with. Who knows? Who cares? But I love the fact that she plays coy about it. So Laura is considering going to FAMU. That is the same college that Dr. Heavenly went to, but both Heavenly and Dr. Damon Daddy they do not want her to go away. They want her to be close by, and he really doesn't want her to go away, because he feels like, you know, God forbid something happens to you, I want you to be close by. I didn't feel that way about the boys. That's a little sexist, Dr. Damon Daddy, but I get what you're saying, because it's hard out here for women, especially with the abuses going on. Hello, Diddy. So I get it, but at the same time, she seems like, no, this is what she really wants to do. But let me tell you, when these two, both Damon and Heavenly, are talking about the reasons why she doesn't want to go to Florida, she's like, there's all kinds of changes happening, the economy, the banks, and then they said the weather in Florida has changed. Yeah, and then Dr. Heavenly chimes in, she's like, the wind. The wind is not like what it used to be. The wind, she's like, there was not wind back then. Oh, Laura's like, there was no wind 20 years ago? No. No. I appreciated that scene. Again, another scene, Dr. Eugene with his two boys. Shout out to Toya. She always has those boys looking proper. And when I say proper, they are wearing the best of the best. What's his name is wearing the Gucci Adidas collaboration. The other one's wearing Essential. I was like, okay, looking good. What I appreciate about the scene with Dr. Eugene and his boys is we get to know a little bit more about Dr. Eugene and his dad. His dad was so handsome back in the day. So we get to understand his relationship. Although his father was strict, he also spent a lot of time with his father. So he wants to recreate the same thing for him and his boys. So Dr. Eugene, he says, we had the birds and the bees conversation. I wanted to see if, maybe on some element you didn't feel comfortable having that conversation with your mom. Maybe there's questions that you want to ask me. And they were like, yeah, what are periods? And he's like, that's a question for your mom. However, we also know that Dr. Eugene fully is versed and the most equipped to have this conversation. And even he knows that. He says it in his confessional. But he also says, I want to spend more time with you guys. And his son is like, oh, why? Because you're lonely? And he's like, no. I have to say, those two boys are humorous. Those two boys are very funny. I like their person. They got that personality from their mama. Sorry, Dr. Eugene. I'm sure you're very funny too. But no, Toya, that's where they get that personality from, that firecracker. Anyways, all right, moving on from there, guys. If you're just joining us, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share this video. This is our weekly recap of Married to Medicine. And if you want merch, head on over to houseofkempire.com and more details on other things, including our P.O. Box, our Cameo, our podcast. All of that's available. And if you missed it, we did post our Real Housewives of Potomac recap on Monday. So be sure to check that out. As I said before, it is the holiday week. So things will be slow. I will still, as you can see, still give you a little something. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. All right. Also, after this past week with the whole Diddy situation, I needed a break. I needed to get out of Dodge and get a break. How about you? And I know there's been more other stories come out, but once Cassie settled, I was like, all right, I'm going to cease and settle myself. All right. Let's talk about these two parties that happened. Dr. Gregory's bachelor party that's planned by Cecil. And then we have Toya's Pamper party for Leticia. Let's first talk about Dr. Gregory's party, because I don't have a lot to say about it, because yes, we have the strippers. They have the whole party bus go to the gentleman's club. Just hearing Dr. Gregory and seeing Dr. Gregory act the way that he was acting, I'm just looking at him like, this man is so strange. He's like, oh, if my pants go down, they're not going up, and da-da-da-da. He's so strange. He's such a strange individual. Even when he came in and he was meeting the guys and he's hugging them, he's a very awkward person, which is fine, but I just have to mention that. So they have the big booty strippers in the thing, having a good old time. And then they get to the gentleman's club. They continue to have a good old time. One of the deals that Curtis had with Dr. Jack is that he wouldn't touch. Clearly, this stripper is sitting in his lap. You even see his hand. We already know the issue with Curtis pulling women into his lap. Come on now. If you've been watching, you know what I'm talking about. I wonder how Dr. Jackie feels about that. Mind you, they're doing their confessionals after the scene has already been filmed. He's like, you have nothing to worry about. Still lying, huh, Curtis? All right, it's innocent. I guess the strip clubs, like for me, that wouldn't be fun. Like strippers at a bachelor party or something like that. And I'm talking about even if it was male strippers. I'm like, okay, this is cute, but no. All right, moving on. Oh, wait, at one point, Dr. Gregory invites you want to come to my wedding? And the guys are like, you can't invite the stripper to your wedding. This is not, what was the name of that movie? You guys will remind me in the live chat and the replay crew. Look, this is not. Let me turn my notifications off, y'all. Sorry. Look live. Anyways, so yeah, what was the name of the movie? Damn it, I can't remember the name of the movie. Literally, they just had a whole series on Peacock too, which was so good. I really love the series. Damn it, I can't think of it. It's unimportant. But anyways, so he tries to invite, it was like he was dead. So he's like, I can invite whoever I want to my party. Like, part of me thinks that Dr. Gregory would invite a stripper that he met during his bachelor party to his wedding. This man is strange. All right, moving on. Moving on from there. Let's talk about this Pamper party. So we already see Toya and Phaedra prepping and getting the party ready. They invite these, I wouldn't even say the strippers. They were like just really muscled guys that were giving massages. I'm not even sure that they were masseuses, but they were giving massages and things like that. The ladies all, literally what they were creating was the pillow talk party with Nene. Ooh, I'm sitting on something in regards to Nene that I can't even talk about. But anyway, but yeah. So they have this Pamper party. Dr. Heavenly arrives. Everyone's arriving. Dr. Heavenly's like, don't you even look at me. I'm a married woman. She's such a mess. And then the man's massaging her. The one that looks like Dr. Damon Daddy. Massaging her. Leticia Sweet Tea is still having like wedding concerns and things like that. The wedding planner called her. He said, "Oh, we are going to be over budget, $13,000 to $14,000." Look, yes, that is a lot of money, but the way that Heavenly reacted, the way that all the group reacted, Heavenly was like, "Oh, this is just a sign that this shouldn't happen." But everyone talking about the $13,000 to $14,000. Here's the thing. Anytime you plan an event or a wedding, I feel like you're always over budget. And I get her being stressed about it, but at the same time, I'm like, $13,000 to $14,000 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like anytime you plan a wedding, and look, this was her first wedding, I just feel like you're always going to be over budget. So I wasn't completely shocked, especially because they changed the venue. And Johnny probably trying to take a little, no, I'm joking, Johnny. I don't know, because you always a little bit shady. Especially you and Phaedra. Anyways, so Heavenly feels like the wedding isn't supposed to happen because of all the issues that Leticia's having. Leticia, because she's so frustrated by everything that's happening with the wedding, gets into an argument, which I didn't even understand how she got into an argument with her twin sister. And all of a sudden, they get into it. So you remember the preview that we got to see? It made it seem as if she was frustrated by Quad's arrival. Really, that scene was about her and her sister. Like, she had like a big old temper tantrum. Mind you, Sweet Tea, not so sweet. Sweet Tea is like 30-something years old. Her tantrums, like, she gets really hot and heated. Her tantrums feel like a toddler having a fit. And it's like, what is going, like, I didn't understand her reaction. I mean, it was very quick that her and her twin got over it. Kanisha got over it, but it was just sort of like, what is happening? And then I'm seeing Phaedra go into the bathroom with them, and I'm like, Phaedra, y'all not close like that. Why are you going into the bathroom? Let her maid of honor, her best friend, her real friend, deal with that. Like, you just getting involved in everything. Sidebar, you know, every week we have to talk about Phaedra, and I saw on B. Scott's conversation with Phaedra, not with Phaedra, with Heavenly and Quad. Heavenly was like, you know, Phaedra is a great addition to the show. She's a boss. She's blah 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 blah. Look, all of these housewives have probably been told, when you're doing interviews, hype up the fact that Phaedra is going to be on the show. So far, it's only episode 3. But my thing is, if you're going to bring Phaedra on the show, on some level, Phaedra has to be giving us something as well, especially because she's a newbie. If we can't just go off the laurels of Phaedra's past, I need to see what she's bringing us in this situation. We haven't met her doctor. Yes, she knows Dr. Gregory, but even that, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't get it. And I see you guys, some of you guys in the comments, and it's fine. You can like the fact that Phaedra's on the show, But please understand, this is a review. This is my thoughts and feelings. We didn't need Phaedra on the show. Heavenly did say that. It's like, we didn't need Phaedra on the show, but we like her as an addition. I don't see what she's bringing to the show, to be honest with you. Maybe giving some support to Quad being there, because Quad is not friends with any of these women anymore. She's not hanging out with these women. But even that, I'm like, I don't need to see the, ooh, ah, ooh, yes, honey. Like all of that clownery is sort of like, yes, every once in a blue, that's great. But every single episode, the clownery is like, it's almost like when they bring on the really extra flamboyant gay guy, it's almost becoming stereotypical. And I'm kind of getting a little like, especially on this particular show, a show about Black professionals. It's sort of like the clownery is like, this is not what people watch Married to Medicine for. Yes, we love a little bit of the shade and the fun in between, but this is not why we watch. Me personally. But it's okay. Woo, woo, woo. It's okay if you love Phaedra on the show. I have a right to not love her on the show. I don't hate her on the show. I don't necessarily feel like she's stinking up the place, but I also don't feel like she's offering anything to the show besides a hefty check that might be taken away from actually a person with a life and a husband and doctor that we could see on the show. She don't even have that. But okay. Okay. Whatever. Anyways. So Heavenly has her opinions on the situation in regards to, this is when she talks about the conversation that she had with Sweet Tea. And she was saying, well, I had a conversation with her and she was saying, you know, he's controlling, and it sounds like very much like what Quad was going through. Only for Phaedra. And I know people are like, oh, Phaedra brought Quad. This is a scene being filmed. Producers brought Quad. So without a doubt, Quad was going to show up at this event. The contract has been signed. Quad was waiting outside to make her entrance. Okay? So it really wasn't Phaedra who brought her there. But of course, that's the way they're going to make it seem. So a lot of people are expecting Sweet Tea to have a visceral reaction, especially Toya. Toya's like, well, you don't want us to even mention Quad, but you want Quad to sit next to you? It don't make no sense. And then Leticia at one point is like, well, this is my event. Toya's like, this is not your event. I'm throwing the event for you. This is my event. I mean, she has a point, but she's the honored guest. So, you know, whoever she wants there should be there. Toya's like, no, she can go. I will give Quad this. Quad came in very cordial, very nice. She even brought a gift. And she had a conversation. Sweet Tea had a very different reaction. I don't know what people expected Sweet Tea's reaction to be to Quad. They don't have beef. But I also understand why she was like, every time we have an event, why are you guys constantly bringing up Quad's name? So I understand her not liking that. Doesn't mean that she doesn't like Quad. But I'm glad that Toya was like, yeah, Quad, I don't think you should be here. And even Leticia was like, well, yeah, I don't think they think this is good. So Quad comes in the scene. Mind you, we haven't really had a lot of Quad this season. They talk about her a lot, but we haven't had a lot of Quad. So Quad ends up leaving after, you know, Toya's just like, I think you should go. Phaedra, you should take your friend and go. I don't know why you even brought her here. Because producers told her we need to film a scene and this is going to be a moment. But they made it seem like the moment was going to be Quad arrives and then Leticia loses it and has that reaction. And it was the complete opposite. Did this scene fall flat for you? Because it was the opposite. I want to know. It didn't fall flat for me. How would you rate this episode? I still think it's a solid season so far. It's only episode 3, but I think so far it's a solid season. Some, and I might agree, that Married to Medicine is bringing it more than Real Housewives of Potomac. You'll let me know. All right, what else happened in the scene that I wanted to talk about? Was there anything else? No, I don't think there really was a lot that I wanted to talk about in this particular. I thought it was a fun scene at the Pamper party. I'm still just looking at Leticia as someone, although she's in her 30s, I do feel as if she's young-minded and she has a lot of growing to do. We are going to see their wedding, I think next week. And that's when Dr. Heavenly is left off the guest list. But of course, she told us during the Love B. Scott interview that she ended up attending the wedding. However, that's because production said, like, no, we need Heavenly here. Of course, we need Heavenly here. But to keep her off the list, would you have taken Heavenly off the list based on what we've seen Heavenly say on interviews and in the confessionals and on the show? Would you have removed her from your guest list for the wedding? Well, when you're telling the group, I think it's a sign. I don't think they should get married. Based off what she's telling me, I don't think they should get married. Well, do you want that energy at your wedding? Because remember, her maid of honor was sitting there listening to Heavenly. So she probably brought that information back to Leticia. It is what it is. Look, it is what it is. We get to see Johnny next week. You know, the wedding planner, a.k.a. the same one that was trying to sue Candy via Phaedra. Okay. Well. Anyways, guys, I know when you're watching this, it is Wednesday and you are probably prepping for Thanksgiving. I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving, good food, good eats, a good time, a happy, healthy one. And then automatically, like magic, the Christmas season will begin. As you can see, I'm already starting. You know, I love the holidays. I already love the holidays. Anyways, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. And as always, have a fantastic rest of your week. I will see you all. I believe there's a Salt Lake City episode. I believe there's Beverly Hills as well, in Miami. Please wait patiently for those recaps. All right, y'all. Everyone have a great rest of your holiday week and Wednesday. I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Let's get out of here. Maybe I'll play some music. Do you want to play some music? Hold on.